Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to CMG Sports pregame. I'm Big J, joined by Joe Guire and King Zay, and let's get things rolling. Starting off recapping Thursday night football, Colts versus the Jets. Joe, it was a shootout. Mike White had that big come in against the Bengals, get that big win. And they just have kept it rolling. They lit up a good Colts defense, but their defense couldn't stop the Colts. So, Mike White went injured and Johnson just stepped in. My thing with this game, Joe, is, you see these guys stepping up at quarterback for the Jets. What do you take away from Zach Wilson? Because they were struggling with him, and he got these no-names coming in and helping him perform.
You could almost understand Josh Johnson having some NFL experience being able to step in, but how do you explain the Mike White situation? And you have to ask yourself, if you're a Jets fan, and I know there's no Jets fans here on this show today, right, Zay? But if there were, you got to ask yourself, last year you had Darnold and White, and you never gave White a look. And Jace, you'll recall over the last couple of years, I have complained about the Giants not having ever given Davis Webb a look or Kyle Lauletta. Not to say that they were going to be anything, but why don't you give the guys a look? If you're going to keep them on your roster, why not see what you have? We talked in the preseason, we talked about the idea that they didn't have a veteran to back up Wilson in the event he got hurt or was ineffective. And he's been both this entire season. And to think you had Mike White there, and you just never bothered to look and evaluate what you had. So I think this is an organizational failure. I from the college football show we do, Jace, I wanted to see Wilson stay another year at college. I had also suggested the same thing for Mac Jones, although I thought Mac Jones was going to be fine, and I said would be the better of this group, and he's certainly proven me right there. But the pieces are there, and the excuses that Darnold and Wilson have had that there's garbage all around them. Well, explain that to Johnson and White.
Yeah. Zay, how are you feeling about Wilson?
Well, I agree with Joe to a standpoint. There's some things that I do not agree with. I do believe, though, they did move too fast from Sam Darnold, because obviously you've seen what he's become in Carolina. He's gotten Christian McCaffrey. He's gotten, they brought in a receiver that he's familiar with Robbie Anderson, and he's been finding ways to make plays down there, and he actually made that team look like they were going to be a potential playoff team. I don't know what's going to happen now. They're looking like they've fallen off a cliff. But obviously, any quarterback that loses Christian McCaffrey, who's one of the best weapons in the NFL, would probably fall off a cliff anyway. So to that standpoint, I think it's hard to kind of base Darnold on that. You gave him a Le'Veon Bell that really didn't want to be there. You really didn't put no receivers around him out that side of that. Then you had a terrible offensive line that was still learning and growing. It was just bad decisions from the head down, the Jets' part. And again, like not evaluating Mike White properly is probably another issue that we're seeing with this front office, that they're just not really good at finding talent or evaluating talent. And that's really what it might be coming down to. It might not be Zach Wilson's fault. It might not be Sam Darnold's fault. It might just be that the Jets organization as a whole just can't find the right people to put around them. Mike White looks like he's figuring it out with what he has. He's not looking for anything. He's just trying to make the most of his opportunity. And that's what you're supposed to do if you ever get an opportunity in the NFL. Do we know if it's going to become a long-term thing where he becomes a great quarterback? No, he could be what he was Thursday for the rest of his career, but obviously we don't know how that's going to go. He might not throw picks all the time, but it's hindsight, I guess. That's the best way to put it. It's hindsight. We don't really know, but again, it doesn't look good from the Jets front office standpoint at evaluating talent when you have this guy sitting there and he can come up and put out 405 yards in a game. That's like I said, that's unbelievable. Regardless if it was a miracle or whatever it was, 405 yards is, you don't do that. You don't wake up and get out of bed and throw 405 yards in the NFL. You just don't do that any day. So I don't know what's going on there, evaluating talent-wise.
No, I agree with that. Also look at evaluating the coach-wise. Bringing in Adam Gase, that just set them back even farther. Robert Saleh, I think he's got to have a big you got to give him ups for getting these guys ready to come in fresh and put up numbers, because, he's got this team playing for him. without their first round pick. So I think they're heading in the right direction as far as that. And I agree with you. Upper management stuff is kind of weird. But let's shift gears to the winning team, the Colts. They're red hot right now. I know they lost to the Titans last week. That was still a close game. They're competing and they're looking to try and make a run. With those 2 losses to the Titans, they're probably going to look at a wild card spot now. But they're ready to compete. Michael Pittman was my fantasy lock on John with the gym, and he didn't do too great. But you got 2 young guys that when you need them in Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor that can just take over a game against this Jets team. It was Jonathan Taylor that brought him back. But so, Joe, can this Colts team make a push to get into the playoffs?
Well, look, it's funny. There's a reason why Pittman didn't do that great, but Carson Wentz still threw for 3 touchdowns. They absolutely sliced through the Jets, 260 yards on the ground. Hines had 74 yards on 6 carries. So this is a good building block, I thought, for the Colts coming off a tough loss. No doubt that this team has a good offense. And I think if you can get Taylor and Hines putting up 200 yards combined every week, you're gonna win more games than you're gonna lose. I like Carson Wentz. I know Zay's not a big fan, but in the grand scheme of things, him having this great running game, I think down the stretch is gonna pay huge dividends for this team. And I'll tell you what, dude, anybody who jumped on Jonathan Taylor last year in fantasy, you were smart to do so.
Yeah, I was actually talking about the Colts with one of my friends who's an Eagles fan, and he's all like, hey, right after Jalen Reagor went down, and this was with the Titans game where Wentz found Pittman for 2 touchdowns. I'm like, you could have drafted Pittman instead of Reagor and still had Wentz Pittman connection that's doing so well for the Colts, but for the Eagles. But what do you think of this Colts team? Can they make a run here, get hot at the right time, maybe make a push into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think if they're going to get hot, now is the time to do it. Obviously, Tennessee in your division, very vulnerable right now without their best weapon, and Derrick Henry, who's going to be gone for the rest of the season. Adrian Peterson now filling in. He will be a good fill-in, but again, Adrian Peterson up there in age, I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. Obviously, he's AP. I don't ever want to doubt him because of who he is. But again, when you're up that age, especially at the running back position, when you're hit 80% of the time on offense, it's very hard to see me, especially the Colts who rely heavy on that run game and controlling the offense. Because, not the Colts, the Tennessee Titans who rely heavily on running the ball and controlling the clock. Because again, I'm not honestly Tannehill. Sometimes he shows me the Tannehill in Miami, and then sometimes he shows me Tannehill in Tennessee, where he's completely 2 different people. So I think being able to control the clock has helped him become the better version of Tannehill, where he doesn't have to rely on throwing the ball so much. So when you take that away from him and you put him in a situation where he has to throw the ball, it's going to make it look bad. And as we've seen many times, the Tennessee Titans don't play well when Derrick Henry doesn't play well. So if there's any time, I think now is the time for the Colts to make a push. I thought they should have maybe moved Marlon Mack and picked up something, got maybe an edge rusher or something. They only had 2 sacks last game. You still allowed the Jets to put up 30 points on you. You're going to need more from DeForest Buckner and other guys if you're going to want this team to do something, because allowing 30 points to a mediocre team like the Jets is not going to allow you to win that division. You have to be able to score, but also top teams for scoring. That's the object of football. If you're going to be in a shootout every week, it's not something you want to get into with Carson Wentz. Like I said, he's not a terrible quarterback, but he's not the guy that I want in a shootout. It's just personally for me. I've never been like that. I've always said I don't like the way he holds the ball too long. I don't like the decisions he makes all the time. But again, he's proved me wrong this year. He's looked better, but I don't want him in a shootout. So I think they have to find a way to improve that defense, get more pressure on other opposing teams' quarterbacks, and then they could possibly make a run, because it's still wide open with the loss of Derrick Henry. I think that just was too crucial for Tennessee.
Yeah, I do think the Colts defense does have that ability to start. I mean, they were one of the top defenses last year. Didn't really lose anyone. So I mean, just like our Giants, like things have gotten lost for them. But also this Jets team, like they're playing for something. I don't know what it is, but they're playing for their backup. So I mean, I do think the Colts defense that is going to be the key to edging them out over the Titans. But already down 2-0 with the Titans in the hole, you have to, if you're the Colts, you have to, you lost your opportunity to win. You got to win out, and you just got to pray that the Titans are just one step behind you. I mean, which will happen. I mean, I guess if Derrick Henry's not getting there.
Dude, think about this. Indianapolis, the Giants, the Washington football team, the Bears, all teams that had good defenses last year, or what you thought were going to be good defenses that have been, I'd even throw Cleveland in there, not the dominant defense you thought you were getting at all. So, weird.
That's true.
Weird. Again, for teams that really, in most cases, like you said, either didn't lose anybody or added stuff to the mix. For those teams to be playing as poorly as they are defensively is shocking.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of those games as we get into the Sunday games. But first, a little word from one of our sponsors.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home service for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside swatting those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
Hey, that is Mosquito Shield. Make sure you check out their services. Tell them Clovercrest Media sent you, and they'll give you a discount on Mosquito Shield for this upcoming spring. But we were talking about defenses, and Joe, you mentioned them. Cleveland Browns, one of those teams that we thought were going to have an elite defense, maybe the best defense in the NFL. But, I mean, they've been really slow. And the most surprising team, also defensively, probably the Bengals. Their defense has really stepped up. And, I mean, we all know Joe Burrow is a beast, and Jamar Chase. Joe, how do you see this game playing out?
The Browns' offensive line is in rough shape, and Cincinnati's defensive line might be the strength of this team right now. Trey Hendrickson, 7.5 sacks. So I think Cleveland's offensive line is going to have its hands absolutely full. Obviously, no Odell Beckham. I think Jarvis Landry is active for today. I don't know that I would expect big things out of him. So, I don't know. The way this Cleveland team has been underperforming defensively, the offense has been not good. I would be really concerned here. I think the Bengals will win this football game. I think the game will probably be close, but one of those games where even though the score is close, I don't think that it's going to feel like the Browns really had a chance to win this one today.
Damn. Wow. All right. I mean, Zay, how do you see it going?
Kind of agree there. I think losing Odell Beckham was just like just part of the issues that's going on in Cleveland. They have way more issues than that outside of Odell. Their quarterback is just not good. I'd hate to say it, but Baker Mayfield hasn't lived up to what he's supposed to be, shoulder injury or not. It just hasn't looked good. They bring in guys on the defensive line. It's just not bringing in pressure. The team from top to bottom, again, is just it's a mess. The Browns continue to be the Browns no matter who they add or what matter the year they had before. They'll find a way to revert themselves back to the Browns, and this is what we're seeing. And I almost want to give I want to give Mr. Gettleman a kudos for getting rid of Odell Beckham ahead of time, because he probably saw this coming with Daniel Jones, where maybe Odell's father would have made a video of Daniel Jones missing him on open plays, and this is what he wanted to avoid. So maybe it worked out for us in the long run, but as far as Cleveland goes, that team is terrible with Odell, without Odell, with Landry, without Landry. They probably just need to blow it up and redo it. I'm sorry. It didn't work out. They went away. I'm not a fan of Stefanski. He's never really proven to me that he's really a good head coach. He's had one good year in the league, and he hasn't really showed nothing for it for even that one good year. That one good year, to me, I thought was more of a luck year for them. I didn't think they were playing great. I thought they were lucking out in a lot of games. I hate to say it, last year I thought they were lucking out in a lot of games. So that's just really what it comes down to, but that's just my personal opinion. But I think the Browns have way more issues outside of Baker Mayfield and Odell, and that's why they'll lose this game for bigger reasons than just talent.
Quickly, what's interesting, look at the Browns defense is ranked 3rd in the NFL, 3rd against the rush, 7th against the pass, 13th in scoring. And yet it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like their defense is playing that well. The offense is ranked 10th in the league, number 1 rushing the football, 26th passing, and 19th in scoring. So the problem here, quite frankly, and I hate to say this, Ted Keys and I were talking about this the other day. This is one of the few teams in the top 15 of this league where you can literally look at that team and be like, quarterback's big problem. He is not pulling his weight in the grand scheme of things. And you could obviously throw Beckham into that mix as well, with Landry being out. And why they don't use who's the tight end and
Njoku's always hurt.
Yeah, they cut him out.
And Hooper, I guess, they got tight ends.
Yeah, listen. This team, the offensive lineman is also Jay Conklin is out for the near term, and so that's a problem. I just, this is not a good situation for the Browns to be in, especially I think coming off all the Odell Beckham drama. They're just not performing. The numbers are there. They're just not finishing this off. It's the reason why they're sitting where they are. And I don't feel like I agree with Zay. I don't like Stefanski. I don't feel like he's the guy that's going to get them to turn this thing around.
Well, I don't know about that. I honestly believe, look at last year. They were struggling with games, and then Odell got hurt, and that's when they went on that run. I honestly believe Odell is a big problem, and he brings he's just his own entity, and he brings in drama to the Browns that they don't need. I think when Odell's not there, you get back to your identity of running the football, pound it down their face. And also another reason why I think not offensively, I do think them just running it, Baker Mayfield setting up a play action, finding Landry, finding someone. It just works better when he's not forcing the ball to Odell. And then on the defensive side of things, the Bengals O-line, while it's played okay, while it's played better than expected, just like the Giants, it's still really, really bad. I mean, they've had a couple games with 4+ sacks. So I think Myles Garrett eats Joe Burrow alive, and that's why I got the Browns getting it. They're going to get back there. Then they're going to pound the ball down the Bengals' throat, eat up time of possession, and when the Browns defense is on the field, Myles Garrett is going to eat up Joe Burrow. He's not going to have enough time to find Jamar Chase. Maybe Joe Mixon gets it going, but I think this is a real Myles Garrett gets back into Defensive Player of the Year contention after a huge performance this week. And I have the Browns getting it done, rallying behind their quarterback for all this heat that he's getting from Odell. I think the Browns get it done. I mean, even Baker Mayfield played all right in that stretch after Odell left. He was making a lot of plays that he wasn't making before.
When did he ever play?
A stretch when they went in and beat the Titans, dude.
Bro, he's never played. He's never played good. He's had receivers make him look better. He's never really played good.
He has to. There's still times where he has to make plays.
He plays good when
the Browns were winning. They were making those plays, and you know who was on the sidelines?
But you know what comes with that winning?
Plays? Odell Beckham.
Yes, but run game came with that winning. When Chubb is back there, when Hunt is back there, and it's effective, that comes along with it. He alone is not good enough to win games for this team. And if these two if the running game is going to continue to be, on the shelf, off the shelf, he's not going to get it done. You cannot rely on Baker Mayfield, especially with a hurt shoulder. You can't rely on him healthy, but with a hurt shoulder, you can't rely on him, period. Again, he throws the ball 5-7 yards off, and some receivers make him look better. They make him look better at times. There are times he's throwing it wide, and Landry's out there making him look better. He's not that good of a quarterback. It's just what it's come down to. He is never going to be what we thought he was going to be. He's not going to be Josh Allen. He's not going to be Sam. I hate to say he's not going to be Sam Darnold.
Sam
Darnold looks better.
By the way, the Bengals defense is very good against the rush, ranked 7th. Their weakness is they're 23rd in the league in scoring. In defense, they're 6th in the league in scoring. And the Browns have a -3 turnover differential. Again, if you're wondering why this team is 4-4 with as good of a defense as they have, with the number 1 running attack in the NFL, you have to really look at this team. And there's one glaring guy. Zay just referred to him as having a bum shoulder, which is funny because he's a bum. Of course, he has a bum shoulder. I was very anti-Baker the last couple of years. He proved me wrong, but in the long term, he's proven me right here.
Yeah.
I just, to me, if you had any other quarterback on this team, take any of the top 15 teams and throw their quarterback on the Browns are probably 6-2, 7-1.
But I Baker plays better without Odell. Odell is
Great.
that pressure. And
So
I
what?
think he does. No, that's
So
what I'm saying.
Eli Manning was a Pro Bowler with Odell Beckham.
Yeah, but Odell.
I think that says more about Baker than it does about OBJ.
No, it doesn't, because when Baker Mayfield needs to make those big plays, I feel like sometimes he forces it to Odell rather than realizing or reading what the defense is giving him. And I think he does that. That's why the Browns went on a run.
What was Tom Brady's best year
Odell's
of his career? Was it the year when him and Randy Moss set some records? That's the kind of talent that you should, as a quarterback, you should be able to exploit it. And if you can't, there's probably something wrong with you. And Odell's going to go somewhere else, and I think you'll probably see who the problem was.
Yeah, it was Odell.
I think it'll still be a problem. I just don't think Baker Mayfield's good.
But when Odell wasn't there, they still weren't doing. I mean,
yes, they went on a run and made the
I don't mean
playoffs.
last year. I'm not talking about last year. I'm talking about this year.
Bro, the problem is people are debating. Odell Beckham has never done anything in this league. He's a one-catch guy. He's known for one catch. That's really what it is. In a playoff game where he caught nothing. Baker Mayfield hasn't done anything in this league neither. He's one playoff appearance, done nothing. So that's was it one or two?
What have the Bengals done though?
But again, it doesn't matter. These are two guys who haven't done anything in this league. We're debating about which two of the bums are hurting the team. And it's not that Odell's a bum from talent-wise. It's the fact that everything else around him, he messes up. He can't get it together with quarterbacks. He can't get it together with teammates. Everyone says they like him in the locker room, but then you look on the field and you see otherwise. You see a guy who looks in distress, who looks like he doesn't want to be there all the time, no matter where he is. So at this point, you're arguing over two guys who just don't do it for you anymore. So either one you take, it's going to be bad. Either way the Browns go, they were going to lose. Whether they kept Odell and got rid of Baker, or they kept Baker and got rid of Odell, it's going to be a lose-lose situation because these two are both holding down the team. That's really what it comes down to.
All right. But, I mean, I just – to be honest, I see the Bengals more on par with the Browns than I do see them above them. So that's why I'm going to pick both to be 5-4 after this week.
Sometimes numbers lie, and that's
okay.
Only
We'll see. And I do – Myles Garrett will eat. Myles Garrett will eat. If we could have done fantasy lock on defensive players, that's what I would have done on Wednesday night because Myles Garrett's going to have a monster game. But
part of fantasy, you could take the defense.
Yeah, maybe. But,
you could take it.
No, one individual player like Myles Garrett's going to have 3 sacks at least today. He's going to eat up. But we'll see. So both you guys on the Bengals, I'm on the Browns. Should be interesting. It's going to be a good game regardless. But we'll get back. We'll talk about the Sunday night game after a message from JPEX Financial Group.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement that you don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? And how often do you think about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies doing the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident with your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website or give us a call at 860-430-5397.
All right, Zay talked a little bit about it. Titans without Derrick Henry going into the Rams to take on the Rams, who just added Von Miller. Can the subtraction of the Titans overcome the addition of the Rams, Zay, to get a road win?
No. If you're a betting person, this game is the scariest game to ever touch because the spread is so huge on it. And because Tennessee is going across the country Sunday night, they don't have their best weapon. A.J. Brown is questionable. We don't know if he's going to go. And like you said, the Rams have gotten better, but I still could see this as a game where the Rams drop it just because. I don't know why, but I could see the Rams dropping the ball in this game. I feel like it's set up too perfectly for them. I feel like Adrian Peterson will come out and have a really good game and allow them to maintain what they were going to maintain. And I think the Rams will play a letdown game. Sometimes there are games in the schedule where it's so lopsided where you think you're going to win and you lose. This is one of those games to me where I feel like the Tennessee Titans are very vulnerable at a time right now where they can lose, and I feel like they will pick this game up. I hate to say it. I feel like the Tennessee Titans will win this game. I think the Rams will take their second loss this season, even with the additions, because I feel like it's too set up perfectly for the Rams to win. I'm sorry. It just feels like too perfect of a setup for me not to take the Tennessee Titans in this one if you're going spread-wise, but yeah, I think the Titans will win this, bro. I really do. I don't have a logic for it. I mean, other than the fact that I feel like this will be a game that the Rams don't come out playing their best because of how it's set up, because the Tennessee Titans are so far down. I just feel like that the Tennessee Titans will find a way to pull this out. I'm sorry.
Wow, interesting. Damn, that's a road underdog taking the win. Damn. I mean, Joe, since I've been doing podcasts with you, there have been two running backs that you've oogled and awed about. It's Derrick Henry and now his backup, Adrian Peterson. So can he do enough to just fill the void of Derrick Henry against the Rams?
Adrian Peterson is 57 years old.
He's not that old.
And while I'm sure, yeah, I mean, look, Peterson, and I don't think he's even necessarily playing today. Might be, might not be. Last word I heard, and you know, if it's Mick Nichols and whomever, I don't know. This to me, I said it when Henry went down. You know, the Julio Jones trade may end up being this team's saving grace. You know, but for this week, this is the way the Rams are playing right now. I didn't really believe in Matthew Stafford. I actually said when that trade got announced that I thought they were it's a slight upgrade. I called Stafford over Goff. And now to look at how bad the Lions are with Goff and how good the Rams are with Stafford, the talent gap, in my opinion, has become a little more clear. I do expect the Rams will win this football game. I think Tennessee will keep it as close as Tennessee can keep it for today. But I think I'm going to take the Rams defense, and I'm just going to have to take Stafford over Tannehill, who I think is a very good quarterback, and I think one of the guys in this league who is constantly disrespected. And I don't feel it's deserving. He's really been playing numbers-wise as good or better than Patrick Mahomes, and people still kind of look at him like a joke, and I don't get it. But I don't think that they have enough today to beat the Rams in LA.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I'm telling you, Joe, it's a scary game.
It is a scary. I love the Titans. I still think the Titans will get to the AFC Championship.
But
I just feel like Stafford will blow this game. The game that everyone expects Stafford to probably come out and put up ridiculous numbers. I feel like this will be the game that he lets us down. I just don't know why. And and like I said, I'm not a Stafford fan like you. I'm not a believer, but he's obviously shown me he can play this year. And maybe it's because he had Megatron at one point, and he really didn't show us nothing with Megatron. And I thought, like Joe says, if you have talent, you got to exploit that talent, even though he, and that's really what it comes down to. So I feel like he'll throw. I don't know. I feel like he's going to let us down. I just feel like it's going to be a letdown. I don't want to pick this. I've done this too many times where you pick the obvious winner and they blow it. And Vegas has just been knowing too much lately.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Robert Woods is in. The way Cooper Kupp's been playing. Von Jefferson's another good target for him. I just feel like the Rams got it going on in a big way. But listen, teams sometimes overcome adversity by winning big road games. There'd be no better statement for the Titans than to say, we'll go play the best team in the NFL at their place with no Derrick Henry, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
this could be this would be a huge win for the Titans.
This would be the Titans' 5th win in a row, and I mean, their past 3 have been tough. The Bills, they beat. I mean, the Chiefs, they're struggled, but they're still the Chiefs, and then the Colts on the road. But I do think it's about time that they kind of meet a dose of reality. Because, I mean, on this 4-game win streak they're on, Derrick Henry has been carrying them. And, I mean, Tannehill's all right, but I don't think he'll have to throw for 300 yards against this Rams defense to beat it. And I just don't think he can. And I think I just think that Aaron Donald's going to be able to get to him. I mean, if A.J. Brown doesn't play, I think Ramsey just neutralizes Julio Jones. And I do think a big reason for the little letdown this year for Tannehill has been the loss of Jonnu Smith. I mean, you got these wide receivers, but I feel like Tannehill just loves to use the tight end, loves to get him involved, have that little safety blanket that he had last year with Jonnu Smith. So I think he's struggling to just get it to the wide receivers. So, I think the Titans are all set for a letdown, and I think they get it done. And also with a new guy like Von Miller out on the field, I think that Rams defense is just going to be jacked up. And they're going. I wouldn't be surprised if they shut the Titans out. To be quite honest with you, I think they're gonna make it. This will be a statement game for them, saying, "Hey, we are the best defense in the NFL." So yeah, there's a reason why it's too perfect, Zay, because it's gonna happen, and you just gotta accept it.
All right. I mean, look, I guess I'm not getting into it.
All right.
Look, there was this when I say Vegas has this at 7.5, and I don't like it at 7.5 because, like you say, this should be a blowout. I don't like it at 7.5. It scares me. It still leaves the opportunity that they could still win this game. I know you see blowout, but for that,
7.5's big.
I don't know, bro. I like I said.
I mean, the past couple weeks, I know we've had some giant spreads, but like 7.5's a pretty big number for Vegas. So I think that's
again, you're going into a situation where a team has lost probably their best weapon, might not have their second best weapon. This should be an easy route for the Rams. They just improved their defensive line. They have a great secondary. This should easily be 30 to something, but for it to be 7.5 scares me. It just scares me like they know something. This game will be closer than what it is. So I can see Tennessee, like I said, pulling off the upset. I still think it's in the realm of possibility.
Okay. All right, we'll see, but I the Rams are gonna get it done definitively. I'd like the spread if it was at like 10 for the Rams. I think a 2-touchdown game, I can see that happening. But I mean, let's talk about another big game: the Packers versus the Chiefs. But first, my boy Steve Risser has a player profile for us.
Third and goal for the 6. Mahomes waiting for something to open up. Finds some space and throwing on the run. It's caught. Touchdown. Tyreek Hill.
Hello, everyone. This is Steve Riss, the host of Sports Talk with R&J, and this week's player profile is on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has been one of the best receivers in the NFL for the last 6 years. His resume speaks for itself. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time All-Pro. There's no better deep threat in the league, and there's 2 great examples of that. Last year, against the Bucs, where he caught 3 touchdowns for over 20 yards, and he ended that game with over 250 receiving yards. Another example of that was in the Super Bowl against the Niners, where Patrick Mahomes connected with him on a 3rd and 15, and that completely turned that game around. This year, Mahomes leads his team in receiving yards with over 700, and he's top 5 in the league in receiving yards. Do you guys feel like Tyreek Hill is going to have a huge week against the Packers?
Thank you for that, Steve. Tyreek Hill, is he going to explode against the Packers, Joe?
Yeah. He explodes against everybody that they play. Listen, think about the game against the Giants, dude, where if you could take Tyreek Hill out of it, you've got a chance to keep it close with the Chiefs. Green Bay's got a pretty good secondary, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's Tyreek Hill. And here's the thing with Tyreek Hill. You can have the ball on your own 15-yard line, and he could have 2 catches in the game for like 20 yards, and all of a sudden he's got 3 for 105. This guy can score anytime you can get him the ball, and he can find the slightest bit of daylight. So you have to expect. I mean, the only way the Chiefs are going to win here is if Mahomes going to have to light it up. I mean, it's clear that this Chiefs team, I think it stinks. I really do. Having experienced that Giants Chiefs game, to me that spoke volumes about where the Chiefs are as far as this season. And for anybody who thought they're going to turn it around and they're going to be great, I don't think so. I really don't. The Green Bay Packers are not going to leave the points on the field the way the New York Giants did. I can't see there being a way, again, short of Tyreek Hill having 12 catches for 210 yards and 3 scores. He's going to need that kind of day, I think, for them to beat Green Bay. And I don't know if I see that big of a day.
Ooh. All right, Zay.
Obviously, I see the Chiefs actually taking this dub, and for obvious reasons, because Aaron Rodgers isn't on the other side of the ball. I think when you take Aaron Rodgers out the equation, you take a huge part of that Green Bay Packers offense, because we've seen, I believe, week 1, what it looks like when Aaron Rodgers is off his game, and it's just not good. Even to a guy like Jameis Winston, he can find a way to lose. So with Aaron Rodgers out there, it's going to give the Chiefs too many possessions, in my opinion. Jordan Love just isn't seasoned. In my opinion, I think the Packers should have moved on from Rodgers in the summer after all the fuss he caused, and now he's causing you more issues. It's looking like you should have just got rid of him when you could have got rid of him, moved forward with Jordan Love, and then that way when you're at this point, he's at least had more games under his belt. And then if you're 7-1, there's a chance. But now you don't have that opportunity. You have Aaron Rodgers, who's not going to be there for you. So now the team's going to be basically in turmoil without their best player on offense. I don't see Jordan Love getting the ball out to the receivers the way people do. Alan Lazard, I don't know what he's going to be after coming back from COVID last. He had COVID last week. Obviously, he was hanging out with Rodgers and Adams, so they was passing it around to each other. So we don't know what the long-term effects is, and we don't know how his performance is going to be. We've heard performances dropped from COVID when you get COVID. So it's going to be rough for the Packers, I think, going forward, especially, like I said, with the whole uncertainty of the Aaron Rodgers situation. If he comes back, will he face a suspension? If not, so I think this is the Chiefs game based on the amount of possessions they'll have. I think they'll obviously have the ball more than the Packers. They'll dominate time of possession, and they will win this game probably close like they did with the Giants last week, because like Joe said, the Chiefs aren't the Super Bowl contenders of the last 2 years. This Chiefs is a more humbleized team. This is a team that's more down to earth. And the biggest issue, I believe, is Pat Mahomes not taking his first read sometimes and always looking to make the big fancy play, the underarm play, the hat trick play. Sometimes he puts his team in that position. I've seen it a couple of times against the Giants games. He missed the first read because he wanted to slip something underneath or with a left hand, and that can affect the team. I know he likes the highlights, but if he can find a way to maintain that and get back to playing football, I think they'll be able to win this game handedly, because the Packers just don't have enough on the offense to get it done without Rodgers.
Aaron Jones will be the man today. Aaron Jones is facing the 22nd ranked defense against the rush. They've allowed over 100 yards in 5 of their last 6 games. Jordan Love is not going to go out there and beat the Kansas City Chief. Aaron Jones is going to do that.
I like that. I honestly think both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon both have the ability to get over 100 yards rushing today. I do think I'm rocking the Utah State Aggies shirt. Well, it's my mom's alma mater, but it's also Jordan Love's alma mater. I think he comes out, and I think he performs. He makes a couple big plays to Devontae Adams, but I do think he's able just to get the ball to Aaron Jones. And, I mean, get the ball to A.J. Dillon in the red zone, make him truck some people, get into the end zone. I think they eat up time of possession, and this Packers defense has played above every expectation I've had coming into this season. They played pretty damn good. I thought that was going to be like really, really bad, but they've been able to hang in there. There's a reason they're 7-1. Chiefs right now they're just middle of the pack.
Rodgers.
Yeah, but also the defense. I mean, the defense has been playing really, really good.
You'll see today without Aaron Rodgers what that defense does. Every defense is good when you're not on the field that much. The Giants defense
won't be on the field
not on the
because they're
field.
gonna have to run the football.
Hey, how about this? Packers defense is ranked 7th in the league. They're 17th against the rush, 6th against the pass.
That's great. We'll see how they do when they're doing it when they're on the track meet all day, when they're staying on the field all day because the offense can't stay on the field more than 4 plays. We'll see.
I think with the key to the Chiefs, I said it when they were playing the Giants. Just let them shoot themselves in the foot. Like you mentioned, Zay, Patrick Mahomes doesn't like the dink and dumps. He likes the go big or go home plays, and sometimes in those he gets picked off. And I think if just Jordan Love can play smart, hand the ball off, make those little dink and dumps, protect the football, the Chiefs will shoot themselves in the foot by at least a turnover, and Packers will be set up to win.
Green Bay comes in with a turnover differential of +8. Chiefs -11.
Yeah,
that's why they're 4-4 and on their way to 4-5.
Because of Aaron Rodgers, though. I mean, I could see
Aaron Rodgers
coming in. Jordan Love will definitely throw a pick as well, but I would take
of them. Not
Patrick
just
Mahomes.
I don't think Jordan Love is going to throw the ball, but about 18 times today.
If they want to win, if he has to throw the ball 50 times, they lose. If he has to ball
big time.
This dude can make some plays. Jordan Love can make some plays. I do think if he does have to throw the ball that much, he will throw some turnovers, but he will also have some big plays to Devontae Adams if he is hucking the ball out there like an Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the Packers, as much as you want to say about the organization that isn't really an organization, just owned by residents of Green Bay or whatever, like they can figure out. They know quarterbacks. Brought in Brett Favre. I mean, everyone criticized bringing in Aaron Rodgers when you have Brett Favre there. That turned out pretty damn well. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt with Jordan Love because I've seen what he can do in college. He can make some big plays. He's athletic enough to make stuff happen. So I think he will be all right. No Aaron Rodgers, no problem for the Green Bay Packers.
So that had nothing to do with the receivers, right? It was just Brett Favre and nothing to do with the receivers, right? No Donald Jones, no Donald Driver, none of those guys, right? It was none of those guys that had anything to do with it, right? They just know how to find great quarterbacks. Oh man, I mean, they've had some great receiving cores over the years too. Let's not forget that. Just recently, I think Aaron Rodgers made a complaint about how he treated some of his former receiver players that they just let go for nothing. So I mean, buddy,
how many of those receivers are going into the Hall of Fame? Both those quarterbacks are going into the Hall of Fame, Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. So
it's the benefit of the position.
Okay.
How many offensive linemen get to the Hall of Fame? Not many, but they're the most important part of the field most of the time.
All right, yeah, I'll take that then. But all right, so Joe and I on the Packers, Zay on the Chiefs. To be honest, I won't be surprised if the Chiefs won. But I have faith in Jordan Love to just do enough.
I tell you, dude, if the Chiefs dropped to 4-5, that would be the most shocking thing that happened this week. Just seeing that number would be jarring.
The Chiefs would have to blow it up. They would have to completely, in my opinion, they would have to blow it up. I honestly, I would get for what I can get out of these players now and start doing what I could do. You won a championship already.
You won a championship and you went to a Super Bowl. They're not going to blow it up after one middle of the road year. They're still 500. Let's chill there.
I'll get what I can get.
Hold on. We have a big NFC South matchup. But first, if you're in the South, you're probably watching college football. So check out.
There's a lot.
The college football season is coming back, and we got you covered on every game. We're breaking it down on each snap all season long. Catch us every week starting on August 4th. Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, Jace Garcia, and yours truly, Obi Muniz, giving you the highlights, predictions, and current rankings. Visit our website at hhwshow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's All Four Downs, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
All right, we have a battle in the NFC South. Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they've been playing some pretty good football since the 0-3 start, right, against the Giants. I mean, they've turned it around. New Orleans Saints lost Jameis Winston. Trevor Siemian stepped up to the plate last week. So, Joe, how's this playing out in your head?
Well, it's as simple as this. The Falcons' defensive front is awful. They can't stop the run. So the whole trick of the trade here for today is Saints just got to get the ball into Alvin Kamara's hands. And when they do that, they typically win. When they can't get the ball to Kamara, they lose. So the recipe for today is feed AK. That's all you got to do. You got Mark Ingram on that roster now. Nice pickup there. Those two did some magical things just a few years ago. Again, this is a team I am concerned about, obviously. Quarterback is an important position, but this is a 5-2 team, and they've done it without Drew Brees. So they're going to be all right in New Orleans. As for the Falcons, they've been playing a lot better of late, I got to tell you. Kyle Pitts is certainly coming on strong. Saints defense has not done well against good tight ends. So going into the Superdome and beating the Saints is a tall order. I don't know. I'm gonna put my trust in the Saints defense and in Kamara getting it done in a closer game than what you might expect.
I like that. Zay, you agree?
Yeah, I agree with Joe. I believe this just comes down to the Saints just running the ball, maintaining time of possession, really just eating up the clock, doing what they can, and keeping the ball away from Tyler Pitts, who's been playing well lately. Great fantasy pick lately for me. He's been putting up numbers for me. But yeah, if they could keep them from basically touching the ball and dominate the time offense, they'll be able to win this game handily. The Falcons really aren't that great of a team. The games they win, the teams score just as much as them, so they have to outscore you. And as long as Trevor Siemian doesn't have to throw 100 times this game, they should be fine. Obviously, you don't want to end up with Ian Book as quarterback. This is coming from a Notre Dame fan. You don't want to put him in. You don't want to be in that situation. So I think, like I said, just maintain the run game, keep the balls out of the quarterback's hands, and they should be fine. But you're talking about two teams who probably I don't even know what direction both these teams are going in. Like the Saints don't have a starting quarterback, so is it even worth going after it anymore? And the Falcons, we don't know what they are really anymore. Are they moving forward? Are they stagnant? I don't know what's going on with the Falcons organization. They've added a piece, I guess, if you want to put it that way, but they haven't really done much else to help out their quarterback. So I don't know what's going on or what direction the Falcons are. I don't know if they're in rebuild, blow up, or going after it. So I do see the Saints should just win this game handily. Just keep the ball on the ground.
You know, the Falcons offense is ranked 23rd, 27th against rushing and 14th passing, and they're 21st in scoring. Their defense extremely mediocre, ranked 16th overall, and 26th in defensive scoring. They are the definition of mediocrity.
Yeah.
With a Hall of Fame quarterback, and you're right, Say, it's like, what are you guys doing?
No,
Getting Kyle Pitts was a nice move, negated by trading Julio Jones.
Yeah. So
you brought back a slightly worse team than the bad team from last year. What was supposed to happen? Even at 3-4, I'm shocked that they're playing that well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a frisky team, and I think the Saints are a team that does also play down to their opponents. I mean, we saw that we're Giants fans. We saw that Giants game. And
the Giants are better than the Falcons. Let's not go there.
Falcons beat the Giants. I don't know what you're talking about. I hate to say it, but yeah.
Well, if it's college football, you'd rank the Giants three spots ahead of them.
All right. Okay, back to this game. I do think just handing the ball off to Alvin Kamara is not enough. I mean, we saw with the Giants game, Alvin Kamara ran all over us. But the thing was, they didn't get him involved in the pass game. I think that's where he really, really excels and can elevate this Saints offense to be up there at the top. But the thing is just handing the ball off to him, he can do some stuff, but he just can't make those big plays. Just to dump the ball off, check the ball down to Alvin Kamara and let him run with it. I trust him to do that. And I think that's why they're going to win this game. But I do think, like you said, Joe, I think this is a close game. I think the Falcons are able to make some plays. I think Matt Ryan can distribute the ball pretty evenly between Pitts and Patterson to move the ball down the field. I do think it's going to be a close game because I see the Saints defense just playing down to the Falcons offense. But because this Saints defense is really good and they can compete with some tough offenses, but they do love play down when they can. So I do think the Saints edge it out in a close game that shouldn't be as close as it's going to be. But yeah, I think the Saints get it done. Trevor Siemian doesn't make mistakes because all he's got to do is just dump it off to Kamara or hand it off to him. And yeah, I mean, the Saints should win this game. But I think
it's a 21-16 kind of game.
Yeah,
it's like the 2015, like the Steelers game last week. One of those ugly games. This is going to be one of those where the score is lopsided.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see.
Also, Cameron Jordan absolutely eats up the Falcons, and he's coming off back-to-back sacks, should be noted.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I'd feel more comfortable if Michael Thomas was out there. I'd feel more comfortable with Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, everyone would.
Yeah, but it's just...
I don't know why they haven't gotten on the phone with Drew Brees, quite frankly.
I mean,
he's bored.
Maybe. I mean, he's working for one of the companies.
Oh, he works for NBC, and I'm sure there's a clause in his contract that says when somebody calls me and offers me $10 million to come back, I get to leave my $48,000 a year job at NBC. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I will say, as far as the Falcons go, Cordell Patterson has been a great pickup for me fantasy-wise.
I had him last year, and when the season ended, I moved on.
Yeah, because he was on the Bears, right, last year?
This guy never gets the ball. He's so good, he never gets the ball. He just had to go somewhere where they give you the ball.
Yeah, and being able to put him at wide receiver and running back, just a natural flex, that's the best part about it. I mean, whenever someone's got a bye, you can do it. But, I mean, speaking of fantasy, let's talk about our boys from Stir the Pot Sports. They've got to start them. Didn't have a video this week, but JJ's likes Derek Carr against our Giants. Joe Mixon against the Browns. I don't know about that. And Adam Thielen against the Ravens. Sanders got Josh Allen. Who are the Bills playing this week?
I'm taking the Bills. They're playing Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Oh, easy.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
a good
Aaron
one.
Jones.
We were talking about that before the show.
were.
Remember? Yeah. We'll get into that in a minute too.
Dude, did they hate our Giants? They think Hunter Renfrow and Derek Carr is going to go off. That's ridiculous. But I do love Sanders' pick of AJ Jones.
Isn't he a Cowboys fan though? So it makes sense.
It does. But JJ, what the hell, man?
JJ's a Patriots fan.
Another delusional Delusional. Another team that'll never win another
sour
Super Bowl.
that we just beat up on Brady. But all right. I mean, speaking of fantasy performances, Zay, I think you picked this man on John about the G-Men. Dallas Cowboys, Dak back against the Broncos.
Yeah, this should be an easy.
They're a 10
Who did Zay
favorite.
take? Teddy Bridgewater?
That was a good one. No, but I took that. And because Joe said that Teddy Bridgewater will probably go out and throw for like 375 yards with 3 touchdowns and a win that they edge out. But I definitely the Cowboys should have this easily. Denver probably lost their franchise, I guess, recent icon. As far as I'm concerned, as Von Miller, to me, I mean, he's the Broncos. Like, I know him only as a Bronco. So for him to be gone is just weird. So I'm pretty sure that team's in just a weird spot right now. And the Cowboys are probably the hottest team in football right now. So I try to say that without vomiting. But this should be a easy walkthrough game for the Cowboys. I don't see them running into any trouble with Denver. Denver's not that good at all.
The Cowboys offense, number 1 in the league. 2nd in rushing, 3rd in passing, 3rd in scoring. On the defensive side of the ball, their rushing defense is 6th in the league.
Ugh, it's gross.
But their overall is 19th because their pass defense is ranked 28th in the league. And I know everybody loves Trayvon Diggs for all of the interceptions. He also blows a ton of coverages, and that whole secondary can get exposed. So this is one of my things about the Cowboys. I know everybody's talking Super Bowl contender. They certainly have the offense for it. But, I think having a guy like Diggs, who was a receiver in college and was heartbroken to move to defense, he's got a receiver's mentality at quarterback, and you can see it. And he's not going to drop interceptions like most of these corners, Zay, who get put at corner because they couldn't catch enough balls as receivers.
You should have gone
so listen, I would say I'm only slightly concerned, and because it would take a day from Teddy Bridgewater where Teddy throws for like 320 yards and 3 touchdowns if the Broncos are to keep up with the Cowboys. Obviously, the defense is good. 6th ranked defense in the league for the Broncos, and it's a big part of the reason why they're 4-4 and not worse. So,
can I just say this though? While Diggs is great and everyone is hype on their offense, just think back when the Giants were 11-5. Didn't we have a great corner that year? What was his name? Jack Rabbit or something like that, who was going off and he was looking really good. And didn't that not translate to anything in the playoffs? So everyone who's just throwing the Cowboys onto this championship bandwagon, I just want y'all to realize you can have a great regular season.
Well, it's funny when they got rid of Jalen Smith, all the Cowboy fans we knew what they all say. Guy blows coverage all the time. You know what he's doing out there. Trayvon Diggs is a lot like that, guys. He's got a great nose for the ball. He takes a lot of risks. It turns into a lot of turnovers. He gets burned a lot, too.
You know who
a double move, and he's donezo. So I think you're going to start seeing more of that. You're going to see more of that against Diggs. Last week, by the way, the first week, he didn't get an interception, and that was against, I think, one of the greatest bums in NFL history, Kirk Cousins.
But Trayvon Diggs reminds me of Alec Ogletree when he was on the Giants. He'd always come up with these these interceptions. He'd somehow find a way to make that play, but just everything else, he was just like, he didn't know what he was doing out there sometimes. And so, it's great. Interceptions are great. Turnovers are great. But yeah, there's are those times where he just gets burned. But takeovers are good. And that's why the Cowboys are where they are, because they have an ability to turn the ball over. And whenever that offense is out on the field scoring, that's good. But I just see the reason why the Cowboys are a contender. I'm not going to say that they can really compete till I see them in the playoffs. It's because their ability to whoop on these middle of the pack teams. That's something the rest of the NFC East can't do. They can't get those wins against the middle of the road teams, and that's why the Cowboys have pulled ahead and could possibly be in Super Bowl contention. But like I said, I just need to see them in the playoffs first, because they definitely are. Zay, I know, it sucks. I hate saying it, but it's true that they are. That offense is good enough to make them compete. If you didn't think that the Chiefs the past 2 years were Super Bowl contenders, if you thought they were, you have to give the same benefit of the doubt to the Cowboys, because that
completely
offense
different,
is just like that.
completely different. I tell you what, the Cowboys.
It's a lot. It's a lot of similarities, Zay.
If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, I'm going to be on suicide watch. Because I just had to watch the Braves win the World Series. So if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, I'm going to be on suicide watch. I'm letting you know now.
Dude, I mean, it's a real. I think you got to accept it. Just accept it before it gets there.
I will not accept it until they win a playoff game.
It might happen.
I don't think. Listen, I'll tell you what. To me, this Cowboys team is probably good enough to get to an NFC Championship. I don't see them beating the Rams. I don't see them beating the Cardinals. I don't see them beating the Bucs.
Yeah,
I think the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a lot of issues right now. You're not sure what you're going to get back with your quarterback. Kyler Murray's injured. I don't know. The Cardinals could be vulnerable right now.
10 weeks from now, I'll take my chances with Kyler and company.
But the thing was, with all those 4 other teams, and also including the Cowboys, we don't really know. I mean, Matthew Stafford only has two playoff wins in his career. I know this defense is different, and his defense is why they're probably the favorite. But I mean, the Bucs. I mean, you got Tom Brady. I think they're the best set. But you don't know what the Cowboys can do in the playoffs. Cliff Kingsbury, I think when it comes to playoff coaching, I don't think he can make the right decisions, and I think he can cost them, even though how much talent they have on this team. So I
was alive. Wide open. I was alive the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl.
So was I.
I'm joking.
What type of question?
It's been a long time.
Jace probably wasn't. That's why. Oh.
Yeah. Jace, were you alive when the Cowboys won the Super Bowl?
No,
I didn't think so. All right. Zay, you're a little old like me, so hang with me for a minute. Let's think about those Cowboy teams that won those Super Bowls in the 90s. They had some of the greatest players ever on their offense, and their defense was full of superstars. And those teams are long gone. The offensive lines were dynamite. The Cowboys had, if you were a Cowboy, I'm putting it like this, and I hate to admit this, because I was in high school, I did have a Cowboys hat. And it was only because, well, I won't say why it was. It had something to do with a girl. Put it to you like that. But that's how good the Cowboys were. That as a Giants fan, I'm like, yeah, I'll wear this star hat. Yeah. This team's nothing like that team. And outside of Dak, nice pieces on offense. Zeke Elliott, despite the numbers, I'll never feel good about that guy. And on this team, you never know who's going to do something stupid. I don't know. I never trust the Cowboys because it's a lousy organization, and everybody knows this. Okay? And
they had Jimmy Johnson also. I just didn't want you to leave that out.
Yeah. Well, we could go into great detail about all the things that those teams had because it was on another level. And again, once Jerry Jones really started nosing into everything, right down the hill. So my guess is as things continue to go well for the Cowboys the rest of this year, the other big thing that I'm certain is going to happen is Jerry Jones will figure out how to make this about him, or he'll figure out how to put his nose in a place it doesn't belong, and he will hurt this team.
I mean, he's going to have to try really hard to hurt this team because I think the 3 over 500 teams left on their schedule, I think the Cowboys are going to cruise out. It's going to have to come
Mike McCarthy is an idiot. Mike McCarthy makes things harder for the Cowboys. I'm telling you, factor that in with some success, throw Jerry Jones into the mix, they will blow this late in the year somehow, some way. Trust me.
I get what you're
And
saying,
Zay-
but I don't think they blow it till the
Zay, you can leave the razors out. You're going to be fine.
playoffs. Yeah.
I hope.
I do
Promise.
think it's going to have to be the playoffs is when they blow it.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't think they can compete with those tough teams. I mean, they have one of the weakest schedules in all of the NFL because of how they placed in the NFC East.
They've had that many times, though. They've had that Tony Romo years where they've had really good schedules and they ran through really big wins and they lose in the first round of playoffs. Yeah. This is the Cowboys we're talking about. I'm just hoping they don't win it. Like I said, I'm just hoping.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really going to come down to that Cardinals game. That Cardinals game, that's when we're going to really know is this Cowboys team for real or not. But yeah, I think that does it for the games. And it's almost about time for the games to start here soon, a couple hours. Go get your beer, go get your snacks and everything. Get ready for a full day.
I'm getting me some Jersey Mikes.
Oh, Jersey Mikes. I love Jersey Mikes.
They got that up there?
Those sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, we do.
They have them all over the country, bro.
Look, I'm going to go get me some real pizza.
Are you coming to New Haven? That's awesome.
Yeah, right. When you come to New York, I'll treat you to some of the best pizza in the world. Don't worry about it.
See, have you ever had actual New Haven pizza? I mean, that's
yes, I went to school up there. Thank you.
Okay, all right, but yeah, I mean, it is.
Maybe a pizza competition is.
We should do that. Yeah, we should do that.
I'll come to you. You come up here, and we'll do a pizza off.
Yeah, you got to do a blind taste test to get your true, honest thoughts.
I do love New York pizza, though. I got to tell you that I like greasy, yeah.
I mean, pizza's pizza. It's always good. It doesn't matter. You could have a deep dish. It doesn't matter.
Listen, I don't even care. I don't even care who wins. I just want to go have pizza.
Yeah,
dude. Man, whatever. There's
a win-win.
the worst thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. 2 Christmases ago, my brother-in-law, my wife's sister's husband, nice guy. He could be a little odd at times. We had just finished opening up presents. And my brother-in-law said something to somebody. The sex came up, and he looked at our 85-year-old matriarch of the family, and he said, "Mama Barb, there's no such thing as bad sex or bad pizza. Am I right?" And we just all like, dude, what? But he's right. But he's right.
Jersey. Jersey's terrible, but anyway.
He's from Jersey, incidentally.
All right, guys.
Yeah, we're
gonna go watch the Giants lose. Get ready to watch the Giants lose.
Hey, no, Giants, Raiders. Let's go. I mean, so somewhere the Bucs got to stop for this whole pump, rah from an interim head coach, right? So, and it's gonna be today in East Rutherford. Let's go, Giants, baby.
Not according to Sanders and JJ. It's going to be a long day for us.
Yeah. I mean, screw Hunter Renfrow.
I've already got plans for 3:00. I plan on watching the part of the game where the Giants hang with the Raiders, and I won't be watching the rest of the game.
I mean, yeah. I mean, find a way
I don't need to watch the end of the fourth quarter. I know how it goes. With about 2.5 minutes to go on a 4th and 1, we punt.
No timeouts.
Yeah, no timeouts because we blew them. We blew them at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then Derek Carr will get the ball and he'll run a beautiful 2-minute offense, and they'll put one through the uprights, and we'll lose by a point. It'll be amazing. Hey, I love that.
If there is
my
one
favorite
game,
story.
If there is one game Joe Judge can outcoach another coach, it's going to be this one with an interim head coach for the Raiders.
I wouldn't take that bet. But anyway.
So we're saying that Joe Judge is at least better than interim head coaches. All right, I'll take that.
Sure. I mean, he's got a stable job, right? He's got a couple years lined up. Well, what's the Raiders guy going to do after this year? We don't know. But all right.
And that's it from the pathetic Giants fans.
Oh my goodness! All right. Oh, that was great. All right, that's gonna do it for the CMG Sports NFL pregame show. Make sure you tune in next week for the same stuff, previewing the games and see how we did. But for myself, Big Jace, Joe Aguirre, King Zay, and a very special thank you to JPEX Financial Group and Mosquito Shield for sponsoring today's episode. We'll see you next week for more talk to preview next week's games. Take care, everyone.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.